Black presence in China is far older than many people realize, stretching back more than 1,000 years. Long before modern borders existed, African and Arab traders crossed deserts and oceans to reach southern Chinese ports. Ancient Chinese records spoke of dark-skinned foreigners arriving by sea, describing them as strange and powerful. Some came freely as merchants and sailors, while others arrived through foreign slave networks. They lived on the edges of society, seen, discussed, and remembered, but never fully accepted. During the 15th century, China's great naval expeditions reached the African coast. African envoys and gifts were brought back to the imperial court as proof of China's global reach. Africans were treated as symbols of distant lands, displayed as curiosities rather than welcomed as equals. Fear faded into fascination, but true belonging remained out of reach. In the modern era, Africans returned to China as students, traders, and workers. Cities like Guangzhou became hubs of black migration and survival. Visibility brought opportunity, but it also brought suspicion. Police checks, visa insecurity, and social exclusion became common. In moments of national stress, especially during crises, black people were singled out, evicted from homes, and denied services. Open violence was rare, but rejection was constant. The message was subtle but clear: you may stay, but you do not belong. Japan's story is darker in its silence. For most of its history, black people were nearly absent, making each appearance feel unreal. In the 16th century, an African man entered Japanese history and shocked the ruling elite. He stood close to power for a brief moment, then vanished from the record. His presence became legend, not legacy. No community followed him, and no path remained open behind him. For centuries, Japan preserved itself through isolation and sameness. When black people arrived again in the modern era, through war, entertainment, sports, and education, they stood out instantly. Their skin marked them as permanent outsiders. They were stared at, talked about, and sometimes admired, but rarely understood. Curiosity replaced hatred, yet curiosity still kept distance. Acceptance was often limited to performance, not personhood. Black children born in Japan grew up speaking the language and living the culture, yet were constantly reminded that they were different. They were asked where they were really from, even when Japan was the only home they knew. Politeness softened exclusion, but it did not remove it. Across both China and Japan, racism did not always appear through violence or insults. It existed quietly, in closed doors, extra scrutiny, and unspoken rules. There were no loud declarations of hatred, only a persistent refusal to fully accept black people as part of the nation. This is the dark